Hey guys, it's Tom Box. Welcome to Tom Newsday from MST.TV, where we discuss cards, news, and their breakdown. Today we're looking into Eternity Code's Madolche support and Thunder support. Now, Thunder might not be getting a lot of cards, but sure, they have one card specifically with the Thunder Dragon name, but another card coming out from their Nemesis archetype, so we're gonna dive deep into that one. And for those of you guys who are playing Madolche, you guys should be very excited. You're finally getting some of the pieces that you need, and it feels like Madolche is that one set that seems to get like one or two cards every other set, and finally it's come to the point where they got their thing to deal with hand traps, and hand traps was one of the biggest play stoppers for Madolche, and now they get to completely bypass it. So that's a pretty exciting time. Now I know some of you guys are like, oh, why aren't you talking about the Mech Knight Orcus guy? You know, the Dingirzu that got equipped with okay, I guess the long gears equipped with the Dingirzu. Yeah, sure, that guy's around too, but I want to put him into a different context before I talk about him. So that's for a future video, so make sure you guys hit subscribe if you want to hear me talk about that one and kind of break down the importance of that card and what it could mean for even the ban list. Okay, let's start off by talking about Madolche, and in Eternity Code, they gained Madolche Salon, which is their new continuous spell card, and their trap card, Madolche Promenade. So they get to go to prom, everybody! They're graduating princess school, maybe. Why is it really important? So I want to bring you guys up to speed before I go into the context of both of these cards. Now, previous renditions of Madolche, they ran like Brilliant Fusion to gain the additional summon, and on top of that, it was very difficult for them to put two monsters onto the field at once to really get their combo and their setup going. So with that in mind, eventually they pushed out Madolche Pettingcessor, which was a much more recent release, and it put Madolche in the rogue tier quite quickly, simply because she is a one card 8,000 damage combo, spin away 4 cards. But the biggest problem with Madolche right now is that when they eat a hand trap pretty early on, they are unable to function any further, and eventually their whole play crumbles. This particular card, Madolche Salon, counters that entirely. In fact, it lets them eat a hand trap. Now let me bring you guys into the card text. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Madolche monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn, so this is hard once per turn. And if another Madolche card is returned from your field or graveyard to your hand or main deck by a card effect, mandatory effect, set one Madolche spell trap directly from your deck except for Madolche Salon. You can only use this effect of Madolche Salon once per turn. So you can only gain that effect once per turn, so that's hard once per turn, hard once per turn. Both effects are hard once per turn. So quite simply put, this card basically replaces the need for Brilliant Fusion, and on top of that, it's within the Madolche name, so it gives you two things. It gives you the additional summon, so you can eat a hand trap and then still extend your play with, say, an Angeli, perhaps with a Who Cake, or something along those lines. So this is easily going to become one of those decks that are going to require multiple hand traps to really disrupt their opening play. On the other hand, if you open this card plus a Mageline, it guarantees that you're able to do your combo regardless, because if you go into Mageline, you add a Pettingcessor to your hand, you special summon out the Pettingcessor, that gets negated, you have one additional summon to push your combo through, and that could be enough to secure the board, especially when you gained a new trap card. This trap card, Madolche Promenade. To go into her card text, target one face-up card your opponent controls and one Madolche monster you control or in your graveyard. That's a very key part here. Negate the effects of that opponent's card until the end of this turn, and if you do, return your monster to the hand. So whatever you get is basically a free plus back for you while negating one of your opponent's cards, zeroing itself out. Now there's a second effect on this trap card. You can banish this card from your graveyard and then target one Madolche to Xyz monster you control, attach one Madolche monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard as material, and you can only use this effect of Madolche Promenade once per turn. It's a hard once per turn effect for using either of these effects. So much like Orcus Crescendo, if you use the search effect, you can't negate. If you use the negate effect, you can't search. But that makes it very fair, because if I get to negate one of your cards and then attach a Pettingcessor onto the Chocolate a la Mode, I get a free summon and a negated your stuff, and you're about to eat an OTK in the face. But this is the first time that Madolche gained a card that actually interacted with their opponent. I guess there's also Madolche Knights, but Madolche Knights has a huge issue when it comes to graveyard maintenance. They have to have no monsters in the graveyard to use Madolche Knights. And this one, on the other hand, can negate any card, any face-up card that's on the field. So if they have a Floodgate up, You can use this card to turn off the floodgate. You can use this as a generic negation, and because it's a Madolche spell trap, it can easily be set by the effects of Messenger Law. Messenger Law can add it to your hand, or through the effects of the this new spell, Madolche Salon. So in other words, with Madolche Salon setting everything up, you can easily build a board that has enough disruption and enough bulk so that you won't get OTK'd by your opponent. And since it returns a card back into the hand, it's going to proc the Salon. Salon could perhaps set another copy of Promenade, which keeps your cycle going, which is why I think Madolche has a really good fighting chance to really stand out after Master Rule 2020, Master Rule 5 coming out. And it's already a really solid deck choice, especially if you paid attention to a lot of the Worlds list. If everything got hit and everything played the World list like 2019's Worlds event, a lot of the top decks were Madolche at the time, especially for anyone playing the Celebration event. Not specifically at Worlds, but like everywhere else where you're trying to win your envelope. That's where Madolche really shines. Let me know what you guys think about the new Madolche cards. Do you think this is a little too late, or is it going to really change the game up for Madolche? So leave your comments down in the comments section, and we're gonna move on to Thunders and I guess Nemesis. Okay, for Thunder Dragons, we have two cards we want to talk about: Thunder Dragon Sky Rumble or Behemoth, and the other card is Nemesis Corridor. Although not part of the Thunder Dragon archetype, it is still a Thunder monster, which activates in hand, so it does matter. So starting with the new boss monster, Thunder Dragon Sky Rumble or Thunder Dragon Behemoth. It's a light level 9 main deck monster. It's an effect monster that acts as like similar to Thunder Dragon Duo. It's a boss monster that can be summoned out from the hand. In terms of its card text, it states, cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned from your hand during a turn which a Thunder monster effect was activated in the hand by banishing one level 8 or lower Thunder monster in your hand or face up on the field. So it shares Titan and Colossus. Their summoning conditions, kind of weird though, because it's kind of pricey overall. You're losing at least one card on the field just to summon this card from your hand. In other words, you're going to be downsizing your hand at least by 1 or 2. Now that being said, it's a pretty big beefy monster. It's 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. The Blue Eye stat line, and it has 2 effects. Once during your opponent's turn, it has a quick effect where you can banish 2 cards from your graveyard, including a Thunder monster, which will proc the Thunder monster's effect. Then target 1 Thunder monster you control. So that's the activation. Your opponent cannot target it with card effects for this turn. So it's this turn. It doesn't say this turn at the beginning. This is at the end. So don't misread that part. Once per turn during your end phase, not either player's end phase, you can send 1 Thunder Dragon card from your deck to the graveyard. So you can send Thunder Dragon Fusion, you can send any of your Thunder Dragon monsters. Overall, not too bad. But in my overall perspective, this card is a bit slow, and in terms of its attack, sure, 3,000 is big, but once you get to that 27, 28 range and 3,000, it doesn't make that big of a difference unless the meta stat line is around 3,000 consistently. If most of the monsters are around like 26, having 27, 28, 29, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. And in terms of its protection from targeting effect, that is a very hit and miss feeling for me. The miss is that it will never protect your Thunder Dragon Colossus from being negated by cards like Widow Anchor, Impermanence, and Forbidden Chalice. That's just not going to happen because those are just too fast. And the thing is, you have to activate this during your opponent's turn, so overall, if you activate this card to protect, they're going to chain on top of you to negate your card anyway, and then it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects afterwards. But by that point, it's a little too late. Thunder Dragon Colossus has been turned off. The surging has been re-enabled. But what it does protect you from would be stuff like Mind Control, Vishuddha effect to bounce it back into the hand, and those that require a bit more to activate, including not Thunder Dragon Unicorn, but like Nightmare Unicorn to spin it back into the extra deck. So those would probably matter a bit more, but overall it does seem a bit slow, but you can kind of get a read on your opponent if you do activate this card. Like, there's no downside to not activating it. You can even get a read on your opponent's hand as well, because if they don't activate anything, you can already assume that they do not have impermanence, or if they set a card, it's not likely going to be impermanent. And if they don't have like Chalice, definitely not another Chalice, and definitely not Widow Anchor, because in most cases, most people want to turn off the Thunder Dragon Colossus right away so that they can enable more of their plays. But overall, this card is a bit slow. It is level 9, so you might see some people try to tech this into like a variety of other decks that run level 9s, and if they are able to summon this card out, they can maybe go into True King of all calamities. That's just an option. And in terms of the send to graveyard effect, that's actually decent, like, because it happens right away during the end phase. So the moment you summon this card during the end phase, you will be able to dump a card into the graveyard. And that is an optional effect, so you can get yourself the Thunder Dragon fusion into the graveyard, so you can search any Thunder Dragon or Thunder monster from your deck to your hand. So that's pretty decent. Overall, that's something that I can work with. It's not the fastest, it's not the main phase, but it does set up his effect to banish to prevent targeting, so there's that. But let's go into the other monster that I think is much more intriguing, and that is Nightmare Corridor. This is not a winged beast, this is a thunder monster. It's a wind thunder monster, level 4, 1900 beat stick. So stat line wise, it's already decent enough, because having 19 is always better than not having a 19 on a level 4. Looking into the card text, it states that you can use each of these following effect of Nightmare Corridor once per turn, so you can use either of these effects. You can target one of your banished monsters except for Nightmare Corridor, so targeting, that's the activation. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, shuffle that target back into the deck. Wow, that is going to let you recycle quite a few things. And the second effect is you can target one of your banished Nemesis monster except for Nemesis Corridor and add it to your hand. So if you can pair it off with another Nemesis card, that would be even more amazing. But let's talk overall about its applications. First of all, if you play Allure of Darkness and you're going to be banishing stuff, this card becomes a 1-card Colossus because you can return the banished card. It is an activated thunder effect, summoning it out, which means you can immediately tribute it into Colossus without even playing any of the Thunder Engine. And Colossus can banish this card from the graveyard to protect itself because it is a thunder monster. That's already pretty good. But if you want to put it into the context of a safer Thunder deck or a level 4 engine, that just means you can enable Colossus fairly easily, even without the need of an actual Thunder Dragon monster. So you can summon this card out and then banish, say, a card with Thunder Dragon Roar, and then Thunder Dragon Roar will activate, and that's going to summon out another monster, leaving you with a level 4. That level 4 can get turned into an Abyss Dweller or any other form of utility. If we're looking at Master Rule 2020, or Master Rule 5, you can see that it could perhaps go into Abyss Dweller, it can go into Tornado Dragon, it can suppress the board, or perhaps even go into number 80 Rhapsody and banish 2 cards out of your opponent's graveyard. There's a lot of options when it comes to level 4. And on top of that, this card can be normal summoned. There is no special summon restriction on this one, so this is an amazing card. I think everyone should pick up 3 of it, and I think it might be one of the reasons why Colossus might get limited down to 1, because of, imagine not just a Thunder Dragon deck using Colossus, just imagine every deck being able to go into Colossus. I'm talking like even Orcus could perhaps go into a Thunder Dragon. They finish your entire board and then put a Thunder Dragon Colossus on top just to stun you out from being able to search. I don't know, what do you guys think about this? Like, say every deck has the ability to go into a Colossus. Does that make the card more fair, or does it make it a nuisance upon the metagame and restrict a lot of the ways that people would build and play this game? Leave your comments down in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Which is your favorite card among the Madolches? Which is your favorite card among like the Thunder support? I would like to know your comments, so leave it down there. I would like to read it and hear your insight. Now, that's my personal insight so far. Is it going to matter by the time these cards release in the meta? Well, who knows, because we've got 2 ban lists before this is even going to kick off. But seeing where it stands right now, these cards are really ridiculous. So anyways, that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed Tom Newsday, I got more Tom Newsday coming up this week, so stay tuned for that. And if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, more stuff from Tombox or Nishi, well, hit subscribe, ding the notification bell so Dengizu does not send you to the Shadow Realm, and I will see you guys next time. So have a great day, everyone, and ciao.